Hi, so I thought today I would do a video on one of the most divisive things that I've seen in the detailing industry, which is these pressol bottles behind me. So I am going to be 100% honest about my experience with the pressol bottles. I don't work at Obsessed Garage. There will be affiliate links. If you click on them and you buy the pressol bottles or you buy anything from Obsessed Garage, I will get a kickback for that. But I'm going to be honest with you about them. So all of that being said, let's start. So these are pressol spray bottles. They come in a 500 and a 750 milliliter version. This is what they call the household bottle. So this comes in 500 and 750. It comes in clear and blue. So here's a blue, here's a clear. These are all 500s. Everything I have is a 500. I didn't see it didn't seem necessary to me to have the 750s, and they're taller, and they're also available in what's called an industrial sprayer. So this is what the industrial looks like. Looks like this. It's a little bit more ergonomic. It actually works a little bit better. And these are more resistant to some of the chemicals that we use, but nobody really makes a good label for them, and they just kind of are what they are. So because of that, not many people use them. Most people use these. So first off, these sprayers come with, these are the household bottles. These are the industrial bottles. The household bottles come with a household sprayer. The household sprayer looks like this. It's available in two different colors. This is what the tube looks like. It's a thick tube. It's got a plastic bottom on it, just like that. There's no weight. It's just a sturdy tube. And you know, that's kind of what it looks like. And you just saw it screwed into a bottle. So here's a bottle with a household sprayer, just like that. Now the industrial sprayers have a silver body. They look like this. And these are supposed to be more resistant to harsher chemicals. They have a smaller, thinner tube and this weighted thing on the end. So that's what that looks like. These come standard on the industrial bottles. They do not come standard on the household bottles, but they are compatible. So as you can see behind me, I have a couple of household bottles that have the industrial sprayer, like this one with the Tar X in it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the sprayers themselves. The sprayers work well when they work. So let me say that again. They work well when they work. Now, how often do they work? Well, it really depends on the product that you're using. So for something like this CarPro Eraser, 100% of the time. Every time I pull, that's what you get. What's cool about this is it sprays on the squeeze and on the release. So you end up getting a lot of product, it atomizes very well, and you get very even coverage. So Eraser, which is basically isopropyl alcohol and water, works fine. Household sprayer, I've had this for over a year without an issue. Same sprayer, original, whatever. And I use this all the time. Let's just go through them all. So this one that says carpet cleaner, this is a Chemical Guys product. It's yellow and it's fabric clean. It's a fabric cleaner. And it's diluted 4-to-1 water, 4 parts water to 1 part fabric clean. And I'm using a household sprayer for that. I've had no issues with the household sprayer. This is Ulex Koshemi product. It's like a good adhesive remover. Again, household sprayer, no issues, works well. All of these bottles I've had for about a year. Bug remover. This is P&S bug remover. And this, as you can see, has an industrial sprayer on it because the bug remover ate through the, well, it didn't work. It ruined my household sprayer. So I upgraded this to industrial and it's worked fine ever since. Panel wipe, G-Technic panel wipe. Same thing, household sprayer, works fine. Plastic dressing, so this is Meguiar's Hyper dressing, and it's just, this is a different color of the household sprayer, but it's a household sprayer. No problems. Glass cleaner. This is Stoner Invisible Glass. My sprayer failed. I switched it to an industrial. Haven't had any issues. It's been fine. Tire cleaner. This one is Shine Supply Wise Guy, mixed 1-to-1 with water. Ruined the sprayer, had to go to the industrial, haven't had an issue since. Iron remover. This is P&S Iron Buster, and I have no issues with the household sprayer with this one. Rust inhibitor. This is Hyde's Rust Stopper Serum, and again, no issues with the household sprayer on this one. Clay lube. This is Nanoskin Glide. No issues with the household sprayer on this one. This is I usually use a chemical guy's product called Nonsense, and I run it at full strength. It's a clear, super interior cleaner. I ran out of it, and I was using the Fabric Clean and a more strong dilution in here. I'll switch that back to Nonsense when I get more of it. This is Tarex. That's a CarPro Tarex product, or CarPro product, Tarex, and this one ruined the sprayer, and I had to switch it to an industrial sprayer. P&S Interior Cleaner, household sprayer, no issues. OG Drying Aid, household sprayer, no issues. CarPro Eraser, household sprayer, no issues. Koshemi FU, household sprayer, no issues. This one says degreaser. I am using a product called Zep degreaser. It's an industrial degreaser, and I have it diluted 1-to-1 with water, and that's what's in here. This one went through the household sprayer, and I had to put the industrial on it. Haven't had any issues since. And then this is all-purpose cleaner. So this is, it's currently Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, 4-to-1 with water. Well, 4 parts water, 1 part APC. This will go to Green Star when I run out of it. I have a bottle of Green Star in here, but I still have quite a bit of, you can see the APC up, well, I still have quite a bit of APC left. OG tire dressing, household sprayer, no issues. Okay. So, as far as the bottles are concerned, they are expensive. They're like $15 a bottle. That is expensive. I am not pretending that it's not. It's expensive. But the way that they look on the shelf, the cleanliness of them, like there's literally nobody that comes through this door that hasn't been here before that sees those and says, holy crap, are you OCD? Are you a detailer of something? Like, everybody looks at these and points them out. Every single person. So I would say they have a wow factor about them. And that's really cool. The clear bottles, you know, the labels that match, all of that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the labels. OG makes labels. This is what they look like. Obsessed Garage Glass Cleaner, 500 milliliters. I think these labels are handsome. The problem is, they don't make enough of them to accommodate all of the chemicals that I use. That's my opinion, the problem with them. So I started off with a set of these. I had them on every bottle. Over time, I've swapped them out and I've done some of my own labels. So as you can see, I still have, you know, 5 of them here on the shelf that are OG labels. And over time, those will get switched out too. They don't make a Ulex label. They don't make a carpet cleaner label. They don't make, they do make an interior cleaner, but they don't make one that I could use for Nonsense. So there's just certain things. Scent, I think they make a scent. They might make a scent, I can't remember, but there's like 15 labels and there's a couple that are missing. As you can see, I have like 20 bottles here on the shelf. So how did I make my own labels? Well, that was with a device called a Cricut. So this is a Cricut Joy, and the Joy is it's a small vinyl cutter. So there's a little needle in there and it cuts out your vinyl for you. This device is like $100. Vinyl is pretty inexpensive. So I use it for a bunch of different things. Like I've labeled my cabinets behind me and some other things throughout the garage. So it's actually been pretty useful. This Joy this model can go up to like 4.5 inches wide. They make a couple models that can go wider than that, but this can go by an infinite length, 4.5 inches wider, however long your material is. I found a starting point and I made my own. It's pretty easy to do. I would share the files with somebody if they were interested. I would remove the IG logo from them though, before I share that. So what about the bottles hasn't worked? Well, obviously I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprayer failures of the home sprayers. They seem to be failures associated with acidic products. So APC is acidic, degreaser is acidic, wheel cleaner I had a bunch of problems with. I'll talk about that separately. Tire cleaner is acidic. Bug remover is acidic. So anything that's acidic seems to eat the tips, and after a while you just pump, 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 and they don't spray. Nothing comes out. That's the problem that you end up having. So these industrial sprayers definitely help, but then you're into a bottle for like 25 bucks. There's only been one chemical that I haven't been able to keep in a bottle that has ruined the industrial sprayers, and that's PNS Brake Buster, which is a wheel cleaner. I was running at full strength. I had it in a spray bottle, and the industrial ones were even failing. After a while, they would stop spraying too. But I also decided that a spray bottle really wasn't the right thing for wheel cleaner anyway, and I went to one of these Marilex bottles. So this is a Marilex Industry 1000. I've had this for about a year, and I've had no issues with it. It's been really, really good. So I would recommend if you're doing wheel cleaner, I use PNS Brake Buster in here, 1-to-1 with water. So I fill it halfway with Brake Buster, halfway with water, and this works fantastic for doing wheels. So this is the better product. And I also have another Marilex sprayer up there with some waterless car wash in it. So I use that occasionally just because it provides a lot of coverage. So sometimes the sprayers fail, and it seems to be acidic chemicals that do that. The other thing that is a failure point are these tips. So this is a tip, and you can see it here on the front of the spray bottle. Now, in order to get these to atomize, you have to tighten these tips almost all the way tight. Like that's all the way tight, and there you can see the spray that comes out of it. It's all the way tight. I cannot make this tighter, and that's what comes out. So that's a really good spray pattern, but you have to have it tight in order for that to work. So what ends up happening is you see there's a little crack there on the side. So like the top piece right here cracks off, and it ends up being separated. So when that happens, these leak. Or they can't generate pressure, so they stop spraying. So these are like $1, and you can buy them from Obsessed Garage. So I have like 6 of them sitting here, and I've replaced I think 2 of these caps. And then in other times I've just replaced the entire sprayer because the entire sprayer wasn't working. Even when I replaced the cap, they still didn't work. So what are some other bottles that exist in the industry? Well, I have a bunch of them here. Okay, so first off, we have this is the Marilex sprayers. This is the Mini Viton 1000. The Viton is the acid resistant. This is the regular Mini 1000. So there's 2 different ones, and I'll talk about them kind of the same. So this one I've used with degreaser, full strength. I've used it with degreaser diluted. I've used it with wheel cleaner. I haven't had a sprayer failure on these. They seem to work really, really well. And I really don't have any problems with them. The only issue that I have is there's writing like on 100% of the bottle. There's no space for labels. Nobody makes a label, and they take up a lot of room on the shelf because they're a lot wider than the pressol bottles, so you can't fit as many of them on the same size shelf. So you would have to have either smaller bottles, larger shelves, or less chemicals to be able to deal with that. Other than that, these work well. They're good bottles, and they're less expensive than the pressol bottles by a fair amount. This yellow version, like I said, is the non-acid resistant version. I have McKee's N914 in here, diluted, it's like 128-to-1, and I use it for like cleaning up my countertops and stuff like that, the wood countertops, the tops of the cabinets, the painted surfaces, that kind of stuff. So these work well. I'd recommend them. They're good products. You just have to write on them with a marker or make your own label or figure something out to label them because they don't have a space like these do to be able to do that. Next, we'll talk about the IK sprayer. I hate this thing. I bought a box of miscellaneous stuff from the rag company. This came in it. I don't like it ergonomically. I don't think it's very good. The one nice thing about it is it's fairly large. It holds, I think it's a 1 liter bottle. Yeah, it's a 1 liter bottle. I have soap and water mix in this, and I use it when I apply decals. And really, I just do that because I needed a spray bottle and it was sitting there and it was empty. And also it's large. And normally when you're doing that kind of stuff, you go through a lot of products, so this works fine. If this thing died tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I've had it for 6 months. I've probably only used it 5 times, but I really don't like the bottle in general. Other bottles that you could buy, Koshemi makes their, they call it their star bottle. So it's this, and it's a very similar sprayer to what's on this IK sprayer. They work just fine. They're nice and clean. They've got a nice open area where you could put your own label on them. It's really no different than, you know, something like this Shine Supply bottle that has the standard Tolco sprayer on it. You know, these Tolco sprayers aren't bad, the gray ones, and there's an acid resistant version. I've used those before. They work fairly well. They tend to not die, and they're so inexpensive that you don't really care when they do. So, you know, if you're looking for something inexpensive, matching, that could actually fit on a shelf, these Koshemi bottles are probably a good option, or just the regular Tolco bottles. They do have measurements on the side, they do have room for labels, and they could be fairly clean. Next, we'll talk about, this is called a solo sprayer. So this is another thing that Obsessed Garage sells. This is an electronic sprayer, so you grab a trigger and it just sprays. This is an awesome sprayer. It works really well. It mists very well. It is not capable of putting out a small amount of product. So like you can tap it and that's what you get. Like that's about the minimum that it can do, which is still quite a bit. So, you know, it's a really good bottle for doing something like a waterless car wash or something like that. I actually had to buy a second one for my wife. She's using it to spray all of her plants with it, and she loves it, absolutely loves it. It's like a $50 bottle. I had to buy a second one for her because she loved it so much and stole mine. Well, so really I had to buy a second one for me, I guess, is fair. And she's recommending it to other people. She really likes it. So, you know, I think that this is a good bottle. Again, it's large, it takes up a lot of space. It is a 1 liter bottle, so it does hold a lot of product, but there isn't, you know, you'd have to come up with a custom label or something like that to make this work. And I think that with the amount of product that it puts out, I don't know that you necessarily want to use it for all of these different types of things. I haven't, full disclosure, I haven't used this with anything aggressive like wheel cleaner or something like that. That would probably be a good test, and I should probably do it. It does have a weight in it, which is kind of nice. So when you turn the bottle over, the weight comes around and it always kind of grabs product. These bottles, like this is a Chemical Guys bottle. These sprayers suck. You normally can't even get through these are like a 16-ounce bottle. Yeah, 16-ounce bottle. You can't get through this whole bottle of glass cleaner before the sprayer falls apart. You just can't. They're terrible, and I've had like 3 different generations of Chemical Guys bottles, and all of their sprayers suck. The bottles are fine, the sprayers suck. And they've got this like, they're like locked on here, so you have to like take them off with a pair of pliers, and it like breaks little tabs off when you do it, because they don't want you to be refilling these with like gallons of product or something, I guess. But anyway, these suck, yeah. And then other brands like Koshemi makes these. This is a 500 ml bottle of their glass cleaner. Their sprayer is pretty good. It's only available, from what I've seen, on smaller bottles. It's a 500 ml bottle, like I said. So I've never had one of these sprayers fail, but generally the bottles are, they're smaller quantities. These are refillable bottles. They do unscrew without an issue. So I suppose I could continue using them, but I've used this. I've used the all-round ASC, all-round surface cleaner. I have a QS. I have a couple other Koshemi products that came in this bottle with the same sprayer, and the sprayers have been good. They do mist well. They do put out a lot of product, but you can, you know, just do a little bit, which is cool. So they are fairly nice. So at this point, I should probably talk about, are the pressol bottles worth it? And I don't have a definitive answer for that. I think from a clean garage perspective, a appearance perspective, trying to have the nicest garage that you possibly can, the organizational factor. I think that these check all of those boxes. They look good, they can be labeled well, they have a great appearance, they have, you know, parts are available, so you can get just a tip, you can get, you know, a sprayer, you can get whatever you want to for them. Cool. They are expensive. You're paying a premium for that. But if you're okay with that, then, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, a great example would be like, let's say you have a pantry in your kitchen, and in your pantry, instead of having your boxes of cereal on the shelf, you have clear containers full of the cereal that was in a box. So instead of it saying Fruit Loops and having this red box with Toucan Sam on it, you have a clear container that's full of Fruit Loops, and you could see through it to see that there's Fruit Loops, and you could see the level of the Fruit Loops and all of that. So we have some of that in my pantry. I personally feel it's a little unnecessary, but it's the equivalent of this. I'm repackaging products in different bottles. A lot of these things are available in bottles that they come in that don't fail, but I'm repackaging them in the same bottle so they look the same on the shelf, so they're clean, so they have the same appearance, they're refillable, you know, all of that. And what I'm going for here is a presentation. So are these the best performing bottles ever made? No. No, they're not. I mean, they're great. They work well when they work. They do fail from time to time. You do have to work for it. But there are parts available. You can fix the bottles. You can get them. They're expensive. Is that worth it to you? Well, that's a good question. Ask yourself. For me, it was worth it. You know, I started off with 1 or 2 of them. I used them for a little while. I bought one with like every order for over the course of a year. And I just added one to every single order that I got until I got to the point where I had a bunch of them. And I have a couple that aren't on display, like this one's empty, this was wheel cleaner. Like I said, this one just kept failing. So, you know, this is just an empty bottle at this point. My wife has one that's got some soapy water in it that she uses to spray her plants. It's got a household sprayer on it. That's been fine, you know, and that works well. And I do have an industrial sprayer sitting here it's got something in it, I don't even know, but it's got all-purpose cleaner in it. I have a couple extra sprayers, a couple extra parts. I have a couple of the tips, and I can accommodate a failure or something like that. Like I said, for wheel cleaner, it wasn't the option. But the Merrill sprayer is way better for that anyway. Just the amount of the product that you go through, as well as the ability to apply it very evenly. I like that better. The solo sprayer could be better for certain products as well. That could be a good wheel cleaner option. It could be a good waterless car wash option. I probably wouldn't have gotten that Merrill sprayer if the solo sprayer had existed at the time. I would have just got that, and I would have used that for the waterless car wash. The point of this video is not to get into a big debate about the bottles and whether or not you feel like Obsessed Garage screwed you and you bought them or whatever. There was a disclosure in the listing of the product when I bought them that said that these did not have a warranty and they were a try at your own risk type of product, and I decided to assume that risk and buy them myself. So I'm not trying to get into a giant debate in the comments down here. So that was my opinion on the bottles. Hopefully that helps somebody out. If you decide that they're for you, great. There's a link in the description, or you can go to obsessedgarage.com and you can buy them from them. I don't know of anybody else that sells them. If these bottles are not for you, then that's cool too. There's some other good options like the Merrill sprayers, the Mini Viton, the Solo sprayer, these Koshemi bottles that are all significantly less expensive and can do the same job. Maybe they don't look the same on the shelf, but maybe you're able to come up with a really cool label for this that looks great and fits on the shelf and takes up, you know, roughly the same amount of space. And you can have a design around that, and that's super cool. So if you do, share that. But anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll have a great day.